We're 5 races into the Wawa Cup Series 2024 season, and we have already seen a Sprint Series driver go to victory lane. I don't know if that's going to happen here today because it is very difficult to pass around this racetrack, but it is going to be crazy regardless. You know what it is. It's the Bristol Motor Speedway, and we are here for the 6th race of the season, the Krispy Kreme 500. It's 125 laps here today around the world's fastest half mile, and it's going to be a fun one here to see who gets it done on this bull ring in northeastern Tennessee. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Bristol Motor Speedway. We are here for the Krispy Kreme 500. This is always a very interesting race, almost a wild card race in a way. I say in a way, because last year, our pole sitter Chase Buck went flag to flag, led all but one lap in the race. We'll have to see if Logan Williams can do so. The only thing that might be stopping Logan here today is his team owner is in the booth with me, and that's Caleb Rose. And Caleb, I know you're excited for this one. This is your home racetrack in real life. You got your driver starting on the pole position, and you had your Sprint Series car win last week at Phoenix. What do you expect here today from your guys here in this Krispy Kreme 500?
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be kind of a wild card race. You never really know what you can expect. But I'm sure we can definitely expect is some good old classic short track action, some beating, banging, all that good stuff. And Bristol's definitely really interesting. It's very small, so one thing we definitely might have to watch out for as we get into the thick of it is lap traffic, because the leader usually catches up to the back of the field pretty quickly here, and then it just pretty much becomes a race to who can navigate their way through lap traffic quicker. So that's really going to make this interesting as this race goes on. But yeah, I think we're definitely in for an exciting one. I'm really looking forward to this race, and like I said, I got a soft spot for Bristol Motor Speedway. And I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, just like I do for Dover. Dover's my home racetrack. I love that place, and respectfully, I think Bristol is actually a little bit better. But regardless of the fact, though, the two concrete ovals that produce a lot of action, and we're going to see a lot of action here today in this one. So much so that we can't have green flag pit stops. There will be, like we had last year, a mid-race break around lap 63. You're going to see us do that a little differently this year because we're going to bring this little baby up, and we're going to have to restart our little intro because that 82 ain't going to go here at the start. But we will, of course, make sure everyone does roll off officially for this race, and be about a 100-lap fuel run for these guys. So it's halfway. Once we get to halfway, they're good on fuel to the end of the race. However, if we get an early caution, that's when things get a little goofy because sometimes we see some guys come down and some guys stay out. And the strategy is a big factor here on this racetrack at Bristol, and it always has been, especially if we get an early caution. And you know what? We may get an early caution here today. That inside lane is going to be dominant. The outside lane doesn't have as much grip. These guys race a lot different than what we saw on Wednesday. Of course, Wednesday, Juan Romero led every single lap. There really wasn't much going on there. Here, I feel like these guys got a little more power going through the corners. Definitely going to be an edgier race than what we saw on Wednesday night. How about these point standings, and how about Brian Webb? In the season he has had so far, 4 top 10s in the first 5 races. He's got 158 points towards the championship, only 2 points behind though is Thomas Troxel. And you know what? Troxel is once again in that same position he was in last year. 2 points behind, 5 races in, and you know that team and that driver going to be up front in a lot of these races. Matt Tuck, only 7 points behind. It's been a great season for Matt Tuck. How about Daniel Paulus Jr., of course, our Atlanta winner? He's only 12 points behind. Blaine Keys, 17 points behind coming into this race. These guys are still kind of scattered all throughout the grid, though. It's going to be interesting to see how it all ends up shaking out. We do have Troxel starting in 4th, but that outside lane isn't really going to get much of an advantage to start this race. So, going to be interesting to see how it all ends up shaking out, but regardless of the fact, we're going to have a lot of fun here for 125 laps around the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Logan Williams starting on the pole position in the 95. As we mentioned, Ludovic Charette to the outside of him. An opportunity for Ludovic to finally get his first career win in the Cup Series. Jack Haas has had a solid start to his year. Had a solid run last week at Phoenix. He's been up front in a couple of these races for Evans Ross Racing. He starts 3rd to the inside of Thomas Troxel, Salmon Oskin, Philip Torres, a couple of dark horses right there. Another group of dark horses here with Ace Garcia and Roberto Crown Jr. Then you got Andrew Miller, who was also up front last week at Phoenix, to the inside of our Homestead winner of Avery Alford, who is still holding on to that wild card position. However, he's all the way down at 28th. He has not had a good run this season outside of that Homestead win. And amazing to see how it ends up shaking out. Take a look at the rest of the field right here, and you definitely want to start on the inside lane, especially if you're further up front, but it's going to be interesting to see how it ends up shaking out here today. With these 40 cars on this half-mile Bull Ring Oval in Bristol, Tennessee. These guys are now going to roll off here, and Logan, this is a very loaded question. Who do you think is going to get this win here in the Krispy Kreme 500?
Well, I'm just gonna go with it. Last year's pole sitter here at Bristol led almost every single lap and won the race. So I'm going to go with our pole sitter. I'm going for my man Logan Williams to get it done here today.
We'll see. Will it be the ultimate jinx? We're just going to have to find out. 39 other drivers want to get the race victory. You know, a win at Bristol is definitely a tough thing to get here in the Wawa Cup Series, but somebody's going to get it here today. Here we come out of turn number 4 to take the green flag in the wildest short track race of the season. We're green flag racing in the Krispy Kreme 500. Well, it's a good start for Logan. He's going to lead lap number 1. Jack Haas right behind him there for second. Then it's Thomas Troxel, who started on that outside lane. Actually got back to the inside there at the start. Great jump for him there. And then you got Sam Anowskin, Ace Garcia, Andrew Miller. That outside lane did not work well for Ludovic Charette. And you know what? I think you can blame Thomas Troxel for that, because he is still stuck in that outside lane, has not been able to find a lane to the inside. The driver started 19th in this race, was Nicholas Amadio. He's already well ahead of that 51 in 3 laps. But up front, Logan Williams continues to hold on to the race lead, and he's pulling away from Jack Haas right now in that 95. I know it's a good car. Obviously, we saw your Sprint Series car win last week at Phoenix. And Logan Williams with the Appalachian Motorsports. This would be a huge win for this team, obviously, with your home track here, Caleb. I know you want to see this 95 go to victory lane here today.
Oh yeah, definitely. It would be awesome to see Logan go back to victory lane. Especially after the opening to the season he's had. He struggled a little bit, but he's definitely shown some speed, and so far it's definitely showing here today. But yeah, you saw there on the start, it almost kind of reminds me of old Bristol. There's only really one lane, and that one lane is the inside. The outside, especially here early on, does not work at all. As you see Samadillo a little bit swirly there at the exit of the corner. However, he's going to get back down to the inside, but yeah, if you get stuck on that outside lane, if you don't get down to the inside, you're going right to the back.
How about Drew Webb in the 99? Didn't have a good start to this race, as we already have a driver lap down. That is Bruno Diacomo in the 28. My goodness, it has not been a good season for him. And also, Tanner Parton down the pit lane in the 50 of Corey Case. So a couple of guys with issues early on already, and I don't know if this is mechanical or not. But tough break for those guys, because you get a lap down here at Bristol, that's essentially it. Now, we still do have the wave around, and we will have to probably utilize that at some point here today. We have definitely had to utilize it last week at Phoenix, but look at this already. You got Zachary Fitzwater, Travis Crampton, Las Vegas winner Kirsten Bell at the back here, LJ Semedo, and how about last year's winner in the 32 machine, also back here? Tanner Parton coming back off the pit lane. Is that Jesse Turner? Yeah, Jesse Turner also coming down the pit lane. He's got an issue. So I'm wondering if these guys are smashing the outside wall just a little bit there. I haven't really seen too much of it, but these guys are getting a little loose. They're getting in that outside groove. And you know what? This race is going to be very interesting with all that going on, because you got Jack Haas all over the back bumper of Logan Williams now for this race lead. And you got Kirsten Bell, Jack Haas' teammate there, about to get lapped. So in terms of guys who are a lap down now, Zachary Fitzwater already a lap down in the 61. Corey Case, Jesse Turner, Tanner Parton. Braden Perez also 3 laps down. He's come down the pit lane, and so has Bruno Diacomo. So I think these guys are having to come down, repair damage from hitting that outside wall. We've seen a few guys do that already. Here's Turner coming back on the racetrack. Pandemonium out there right now, but Logan Williams still clear out in the head of the race lead here as Chase Buck ahead of him goes a little wide.
Yeah, this is definitely the kind of don't know how I'd say this, the kind of confusion that could happen at Bristol Motor Speedway. Usually see stuff like this. I don't know why these guys decided to elect to come down the pit lane, but you could be right. It could be from potentially smacking that outside wall as, oh man.
Kirsten Bell took a wallop there. Logan Williams had to get around her in order to keep this race lead, because that 39 is right there. You know, this is an interesting situation too, because if we do get a caution, you know, these guys are essentially holding up Thomas Troxel, and it's really Jack Haas and Logan Williams who are clear out ahead at this point. So if we do get a yellow, do get a restart, those guys don't come down the pit lane, Troxel's going to have these lap cars in between him, assuming they don't come down the pit lane themselves. So going to be interesting to see how that ends up shaking out. But Travis Crampton about to go a lap down. Not a good run for him in qualifying, and he fell back at the start of this race. Chase Buck is a lap down. That is something else. After winning this race last year, leading every single lap, he is a lap down right there. And then you got Kirsten Bell a lap down now. Both of those drivers went down a lap naturally, and then everyone from Corey Case on down had to come down the pit lane for some reason or another. It looks like, I want to kind of keep with the leader here, because these lap cars can definitely shake things up front if Logan Williams is not careful. And you got Chase Buck actually trying to get back around Jack Haas. Maybe try to chase down the 95 and get his lap back if a caution comes out.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the interesting things about this track, because, you know, they're running into lappers, but just because this track is so small and they catch them so fast, the lappers aren't necessarily slow. Oh!
Somebody around. That is Bryce Egan and LJ Semedo.
Oh, boy.
And that happened right in front of our leader, Logan Williams. So our first caution of the day here in the Krispy Kreme 500 comes out. And now, here's the thing. You could theoretically make it to the end of this race, as Bryce Egan's going to rear end Chase Buck right there. And Logan Williams, oh boy, I don't know about this strategy here. This could get interesting. Of course, Jack Haas is second. Actually, he might not be second anymore, because he may have gotten held up. Angel Gutierrez, our leaders are coming down here. Our race leaders, it looks like all of our race leaders, in fact, are coming down right here. So, this is going to make things interesting. Will they end up coming down on the mid-race break? Because if they can make it from here on out, they'll probably not come down again. The tire wear isn't too significant here in this I&I version that I have. Logan Williams has the first pit stall on the backstretch. That's also an interesting facet of this racetrack. The pole sitter gets the first pit stall on the backstretch. But it'll be 4 tires for Logan Williams right there. And then down the front stretch, Angel Gutierrez has his pit stall with Jack Haas there as well in the 39. We'll see if Logan Williams, in fact, beats these guys off, or will it be somebody else? Of course, Logan had a pretty good advantage coming down the pit lane here, so I would imagine he would remain the race leader. And, yes, he will easily remain the race leader. Samet Ozkin is going to be second. Rogel Dorn, then Thomas Troxel, then Gutierrez and Jack Haas. So, fascinating little movement right there. Don't think anybody stayed out of our race leaders. We'll have a couple of guys who end up going a lap down here because the pit lane is so short. That's the downside of being back in the field. We may not even end up with any cars on the tail end, so we probably won't have to wave these guys around, which means Logan Williams lead us to the green flag when we get back to racing here in the Krispy Kreme 500. But first, let's see what happened to ring out that first caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, that's what happened here to bring on our first caution of the day. Bryce Egan in the 69. Just a little too... Actually, you know, Matt Tuck kind of gets a little loose there. Bryce Egan has a solid run and just sideswipes him. Sending that 69 around. LJ Semedo, our Daytona 500 champion, nowhere to go. It's a tough break for him right there. And then Brian Webb, just a tap right there on the 69. And enough to send him up into the wall. And you know, the thing about here at Bristol, these guys, you know, once they wreck, a lot of guys pile in. There's just not enough room for these guys. The race leader, Logan Williams, almost getting caught up in that one. But thankfully, they kept it together for the most part, not anything too major, and it's going to give us our first restart of the day. Let's replay this in real time.
Well, you're going to see here, Matt Tuck's going to get a little loose off the corner. Bryce Egan maybe comes up just a little too much, and that's going to cause a chain reaction resulting in Egan and Sam Adio and Brian Webb getting pretty significant damage. And I wonder if we're going to see that anymore today, and a little extracurricular activity.
Happened.
Oh boy. That's Jack Haas, who I think was running third.
He was up there.
Up there somewhere, but Luckily, not too much damage on that 39, so he should be fine, but I wonder if we'll see that anymore today. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this race goes.
It definitely will be. Let's go ahead, though, and see what happens on this restart here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. All right, we're back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. These guys have come down the pit lane, and all the leaders came down, which is nice to see. We didn't see a split strategy. However, if we get another quick caution, these guys may still come down. Your driver, Logan Williams, still leading this field. Sam and Oskin, a bit of strategy right there. Then Rogel Dorn, Thomas Troxel, Angel Gutierrez, Jack Haas, Laura Chung. Lap down is the 5 of Roberto Crown Jr., same with Daniel Paulus Jr. As a matter of fact, a lot of guys are lap down because of the short pit lane. Nicholas Samadillo is 8th, and then Matthew Hubert and Justin Zeidel. So these guys are scrambled all over the place, but you only get the wave around if you're on the tail end. Back to racing, Sam and Oskin. The driver who won for you in the Sprint Series ride last year, Caleb. He's full-time this season, driving for Durrani Racing, and he is trying to close in on Logan Williams, but that 95 with a great jump. And you know what? Logan's in a great position right now to possibly get this win.
Definitely, I think. Oh boy, got a lot of cars stacked up down the inside.
And these were some guys who were lapped down, maybe caught up in an accident coming down the pit lane. Matthew Huber trying to make some moves here. How about your boy Nicholas Samadillo as well? Good day so far. Knock on wood for the home team of Appalachian Motorsports. Up to 7th for Mr. Edge. Oh, and another yellow.
Oh, we got a caught there.
And it's Andrew Miller and the double zero of Juan Romero, who won on Wednesday. And Logan's got to be careful getting around these guys. Rogel Dorn will get 2nd. And Logan's also going to put Kirsten Bell a lap down in between him and 2nd place. So that's going to get interesting right there. Of course, these guys just came down the pit lane, and these caution laps will help them get a little bit further. So already 2 cautions here in this Krispy Kreme 500. I don't think anyone got their lap back either. And odds are nobody is going to get a wave around. Oh, Rogel Dorn's going to come down here. That's an interesting strategy. And then we also have Laura Chung, Angel Gutierrez. So this is what I was talking about at the top of the show here. This strategy play. Those guys probably feel like they can't make it to the end. We still have our mid-race break coming, though, and they might be thinking, hey, let's get our fuel and tires here now and then stay out on the mid-race break. I don't know if that's going to be the case for those guys. But hey, strategy also a huge part of the ratings as well for the team owners. So we'll have to see how those guys end up faring as this race goes along. But anyways, Logan Williams stays out. Let's go ahead and see what happens to bring out the 2nd caution of the day here in this Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. Well, Andrew Miller was one of these guys who came down the pit lane, and he just didn't have a good entry. Sideswipe Brad Stover, Drew Webb, Justin Zeidel there as well. And going in the turn number 3, Philip Torres just clips him at the wrong place, and Justin also gets caught up in the 43. And the 43 of Justin Zeidel actually rode the wall just a little bit. Sent that 97 around, and that's our 2nd caution of the day. Pretty early on from that last one as well. And then Chase Buck there in the 32. That doesn't look good for our defending race winner of this Krispy Kreme 500. That kind of a hit usually takes the driver out of the race. Well, you see a lot of these guys who came back down again. Of course, we saw a decent amount of these guys get lapped on that cycle there because of the pit lane being so small. And some of these guys just coming back down again to repair damage because we've seen a lot of these guys overshoot that outside wall. But hey, you know what? These guys get shuffled around like crazy here, and that's just bound to happen. And that's what happened there with Andrew Miller in the 97.
Well, Andrew Miller trying to merge on what looks like I-75 during rush hour. Fortunately, he's going to make contact with a couple cars, and that's going to result in him in the outside wall. And unfortunately, nowhere for really anyone to go with the strip being so narrow. And that's going to collect a couple cars. Probably most notably, last year's winner, Chase Buck, got a pretty good piece of that. But it'll be interesting to see. And you can see, yeah, the 32 almost immediately came down the pits to probably assess that. But unfortunately, probably going to take the 97 out of this race. And this is going to be interesting because definitely a lot shorter of a green flag run than the first one. Could these guys potentially be getting antsy here?
Chris Rogaldorn came down here under this caution as well. So did Angel Gutierrez and Laura Chung. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up shaking out as the race goes on, because these guys, like I said, about a 100-lap fuel run, they should be kind of good to go at this point, and especially if we keep on getting cautions. We'll have to see if that ends up happening. Let's go ahead and get back to racing here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. Lights out on the pace car here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Going to restart on lap 36:01.25 here in the Krispy Kreme 500. I bet you this race is making you a little nervous, isn't it? With your two drivers, both in the top 5 right now. So many different things going on already. Pit strategy and drivers getting wrecked up, and let's have to see how it ends up shaking out. This place is a bit crazy. We have seen so many crazy races here at Bristol in the past, and I think we're in store for another one here today. There'll be 90 laps to go with Logan Williams leading. Kirsten Bell is a lap down, and you got Sam Oskin, Thomas Troxel, Nicholas Sambadio, and then Matthew Hubert. Brian Webb also a lap down, our points leader. Not a good day for him. And Logan trying to get the jump on Kirsten Bell here. Oh, that 95's a little wide. He can't let that 93 get to the inside of him, or otherwise he's going to lose this race lead.
He's trying to hook the bottom still. It looks like he's kind of got the hang of it. Got some car slamming the wall back there. Point leader Brian Webb actually got into it. So did Travis Crampton. And now Webb is stuck on that outside. There's no gap for him to get down to the inside. You see Kirsten Bell getting on the outside there, and Logan Williams trying to open up a gap to the lead. And back here, Samadio also trying to make his way up. Not putting all my eggs into one basket just yet, from what I've seen so far.
You can't do that here, that's for sure. Hey, one guy to watch out for is Thomas Troxel. Obviously, Pacific Racing, very good on the short tracks. They were last year. Of course, Avery Alford has something else to say about that. That 52 is trying to get his lap back, or one of his laps back. You got quite a few guys a lap down, only 21 guys on the lead lap, and that was mainly because the pit lane's just so small. The nature of it allows those guys to go a lap down because the leaders are going through. We do have 3 guys out of the race, and that is Chase Buck, Andrew Miller, and LJ Cemento, obviously from the incidents that have occurred so far that you guys have seen. 6 laps down is Bryce Egan, who was involved in that first wreck, and then everyone else multiple laps down from coming down the pit lane and whatnot. How about Nicholas Samadio up to 3rd as Troxel gets put on the outside lane? That you guys have some fast cars here. That's all I've got to say. And Nicholas Samadio, who is, by the way, still going for his first career win in the Wawa Cup Series, as our 3rd caution will involve the 31 and the 20. The 31 there of Santiago Labrito getting spun around.
Look out.
And they gotta be careful up here. Your Sprint Series car there of Corey Case getting caught up. It's always a bit wild here, isn't it? These guys, driving around, making sure they avoid the leaders, and they will. Thankfully, the pace car is translucent, and oh, is he coming down? No, he is not. He's just trying to, okay. I bet your heart skipped a beat right there. Hey, you know what? We still got that mid-race break. Now, then again, too, if we get a caution right around that time, then we're not going to have the break. So if we're close enough to it, kind of within that range, we will not have the mid-race break, because as long as we know they can make it to the end without having to come back down again, because we want to avoid green flag pit stops, and obviously this race has shown that here today, and we'll just keep it going. Hey, it's been a while since we've had a bit of a wreckfest race, but you know what? We're going to have some fun here. How about the top 5? You got Logan Williams, Sam Minoska, Nicholas Samadio, Brady Mardi Gras, Brad Stover, and Matthew Hubert there in the 6th position. These guys are all lapped down. Then you got Troxel here in the 62. Jack Haas in the 39 is 8th. Trey Bartow is in 9th, and Ladovic Shart rounds out the top 10. Definitely a crazy little race so far, but Logan Williams has led every single lap of it. We'll see if that continues, but first let's see what happens to bring out the 3rd caution of the day here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. And Santiago Labarita. You know, these guys keep on, like, flopping these rides, get them confused. He got in the Zachary Fitzwater and then came down on Trey Bartow, and around goes the 31. Of course, Santiago Labarito won a week and a half ago at Willow Springs in the Sprint Series, and actually led laps at Phoenix last week. Not necessarily the case for him this week in that 31 and the Trey Bark to open the wall. That was all that really happened. I don't think there's really much of a need to keep on reviewing this one. So we'll just go ahead and keep on playing it. And yeah, that's what happened there as he got in the Phillip Torrey's coming back on the racetrack. But yeah, not anything we haven't seen before here at Bristol. Let's get back to racing once again. Logan Williams still out front on that 95. We'll see what he does on the restart once again here in this Krispy Kreme 500. We're back once again, and Logan Williams is still up front in this one, some way or another. Things have gotten a bit crazy here, but we still have ourselves 21 drivers on the lead lap. Last driver on the lead lap, Lane Keys in the 41 right there, and then we got a bunch of lap cars sprinkled throughout the field. However, the top 6 all on each other. Logan Williams, Sam Adozka, Nicholas Samadio, Brady Mardi Gras, Brad Stover, and Matthew Hubert there. So the leaders are right on each other. And how about that 59 of Nicholas Samadio, who has moved up 16 positions in this race so far, not even halfway. Here we go, back underway at Bristol. Take it away, Caleb. What you going to see here on this restart?
Already, that was a great jump by Logan Williams in the 95. And here comes Nicholas Samadio. He's trying to get to the inside of Sam Adoskin. And, well, we got a 1-2 on our hands right now, and the caution is back out.
Ace Garcia this time down the backstretch. But that gives a position to Nicholas Samadio right here. And if these guys don't come down here, well, actually, I don't think it really matters at this point. I think we're at a point right now where we might not have our mid-race break because of how many cautions we've already had. And with the yellow flying right here, I don't think these guys are going to need to come back down again. Obviously, I think Logan Williams would have come down by now. Like I said, about a 100-lap fuel run for these guys as Blaine Keys is down. He was on the lead lap, and now he's going to go a lap down in the 41. Well, Caleb, I bet you're liking what you're seeing right now. But we're not even halfway here at Bristol. We've already had 4 cautions in this race. How do you think it's going to play out as we go along here?
Honestly, it's going to be hard telling if this is going to continue because the first leg of the race rained green, and then we had our first caution, and then after that it's just been pandemonium. So it's going to be hard telling what we'll get. Honestly, every restart, we don't really know what we're going to get, but hey, I'm just going to say the more yellows we get, the longer we're going to guarantee to be spinned out front. That's all I'm going to say.
We'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out. Let's go ahead and see what happens to bring out the 4th caution real quick, then get back to racing here in the Krispy Kreme 500. And Justin Seidel. I don't know, man. You're not supposed to be that high, and then Ace Garcia also getting caught up as well. They could have held it. They could have held it, honestly, because they were at the back of the field. But nonetheless, we're under our 4th caution, and Logan Williams still leads the field in 95. But his teammate now is in 2nd. This is going to be interesting on the restart with Nicholas Samadio right behind. Let's see how it goes on the 4th restart of the day here in the Krispy Kreme 500 at Bristol. Back once again here at Bristol. Not even halfway through this race yet, already 4 cautions. As you have seen, these guys have just been a little edgy all day. But hey, you know what? We're having fun. And that's what we expected coming into this race here at Bristol. And you know what? The rating's still coming into effect. Quite obviously, you guys at Appalachian Motorsports have some strong cars. Logan Williams, Nicholas Samadio, 1-2. Brady Mardi Gras, Brad Stover, Sam Adoskin fell back to 5th. It's actually a good thing that caution happened when it did, because he would have fallen even further back. Now, 19 drivers on the lead lap. You see him right there. Last one is Justin Seidel at the back of the field. We're once again back underway, and now Logan Williams has his biggest challenger of the race so far. And that's his teammate, Nicholas Samadio, who's going to try to take this race lead away on lap 54.
Tried to take a peek there, didn't quite get it done. Oh, Brady Mardi Gras is going to slide up. That's going to allow the 88 of Stover to get down to the inside.
Almost 3 wide.
Go 3 wide. That's not going to work.
It worked.
They made it work.
Matthew Hubert in the 0. How about this? Rookie's had an excellent season so far, and he really went for it right there. And they're going for it again and around Seth Cole and Ladovic Charette this time, and they are just losing it off the corner. It's a bit wild out there for these guys. Logan Williams will win the race back once again, our 5th yellow flag here at Bristol. You know, we've got the same strength set this year as we had last year, and I don't think we made too many changes to this track. But that'll be our mid-race break right there. We're not going to throw the caution midway through because there's really no point in doing so. You just saw it right there, you know, Ladovic Charette just getting a little loose right there. You know, once they get into a rhythm and spread out, we're good, and that's kind of what happened the first 25 laps. We were green, and then they just keep on wrecking. It's like a super speedway race in the NASCAR Cup Series. Hey, we're going to have a caution-free race next week at COTA since it's a road course. And obviously the race after that being Rockingham, usually a pretty clean one there as well. So, you know what? You know, we're going to just let this one go. It may not be the most ideal thing viewership-wise, but you know what? It's all part of the game sometimes, you know? And as long as nothing too ultra-stupid happens, we'll keep on going. So if you're seeing this, you know it's going to keep going like this. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit influenced by Caleb sitting next to me. His two cars running up front, and, you know, I want to see this battle. I want to see a green flag run. And these two guys battle it out for the win. I know you'd love to see that as well.
That would be pretty nice as long as there's not a car sitting right behind us in third, because then we're going to get trained.
Hey, watch out for Brad Stover. Watch out for Matthew Hubert. Look what he did there on that restart, going 3 wide there, putting Sam and Oskin and Brady Mardigras way behind. You know, we might just go ahead and review that accident in the corner of your screen and just keep it going right here, because at this point, I don't know if we need to keep on cutting back and forth, but that will be our mid-race break there. So we're not going to throw a caution automatically. So it's on from here on out. Whatever happens goes. Still 19 drivers on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is Laura Chung in the 55. And no one really in contention to get their lap back because you got 4 guys here in front of Brian Webb there, who is the first car 1 lap down. And Brian could still get his way back on the lead lap. You know, all things considered, I think this is a pretty solid day for Brian Webb because points leader did not have a good qualifying effort, had an issue early on, got caught a lap down early on. Considering he's in the top 20, a lap down, it's not too bad. We'll see if things get crazy enough up front. Haven't had too many long green flag runs as of late. Longest one was the start of the race, about 25 laps, and since then it's been caution, 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 caution. 5 cautions so far. I think we are breaking a record for the amount of cautions in a Wawa Cup Series race, but here we go again. And Logan Williams a pretty good jump this time, and he still has led every single lap so far in this race.
How many times did you just say caution within the span of 10 seconds?
5 times, because that's how many cautions we have had here today. And there's number 6. Crampton, Seth Cole, Roberto Crown Jr., and Bryce Egan, and then Drew Webb getting tapped there by Laura Chung. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
They just keep on doing it here. Well, we're now halfway, finally. You know, we went 25 laps. 25 laps without anything like that happening, and then all of a sudden, everyone just went crazy out there. Which is pretty interesting, the way it's played out. Tough break, tough day for Crampton overall. Definitely not what he wanted in that 98 machine. And then Roberto Crown Jr., they've had a tough day as well. Sitting 26 right now. Bryce Egan obviously was caught up in that first accident that we had. And then the 0-0 of Juan Romero, not the winning day that he had on Wednesday, but ironically, he's still on the lead lap in that 0-0 machine.
That's the pure embodiment of Bristol. That car right there is still on the lead lap.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were saying, you know, if we keep on getting these cautions, I think it's exactly what you want to see with Logan Williams, because I think that does give him a better opportunity of just staying out front here. Now, we had only 2 cautions in this race last year. It's the mid-race break, and then we had 1 wreck afterwards. We've had 6 so far here today. And the past couple of them have just been right after the restart. So many of these guys in the back of the field with damage at this point, and just running a little too hard into the corner. Yeah, it's at the 99% strength too. We don't have it all the way turned up here at Bristol. And hopefully we can get these guys to have a solid green flag run to maybe end this thing out.
That would definitely be nice, especially from a viewer standpoint. But
we apologize for this, but you know what? I think that's what you get when you put Bristol on your schedule. You know, we've had it every single season. We've had it scheduled at least every single season of the Cup Series, and you know, I'm surprised that I still do it. But you know what? It's Bristol. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes sometimes. You know what? We're having fun. Ultimately, that's what matters, is that we're having fun. And you know what? We'll let it go for this time because my time's kind of limited. I don't have much time to redo this, so we'll go ahead, let this one go, and then, you know what? We'll come back stronger next week at Coda. We'll have a solid race there, and I think the rest of the season is going to be quite good. But you know what? We still do have a race win to hand out, and Logan Williams has absolutely earned the position he's been in at this point. But so has Nicholas Samadeo, who has actually moved his way through the field. And here we go! Here we go for the race lead! And this was the opportunity Nicholas wanted, and he's going to take it away from his teammate. And we got ourselves a new race leader here in the Krispy Kreme 500. Oh boy, you see how much Logan slipped back. Bittersweet moment for you, Caleb, right there, no doubt about it.
He's going to have to get down to the bottom. And luckily for him, the, I guess, positions themselves are actually pretty spread out. And, boy, we're back in the
again, but that doesn't really matter for Logan Williams at this point. As I think it was De Oliveira and Diacomo in the back of the field there. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. 7th caution. So we're averaging a caution every 10 laps here right now. I think we got 3 laps in that time around.
Like I said, if there's any track on the schedule that makes sense to be a wreckfest, it would probably be here.
Yeah, if this were a different racetrack, we would probably redo this race, but this track is nearly impossible to get down correctly. And like I said just a minute ago, ultimately, we're all about having fun right here. And you know what? This is the kind of race that Nicholas Samadeo would win, be his first Wawa Cup Series race victory. But you know, the funny thing about that is he's actually worked his way through the field to get to this point during these green flag runs. I mean, there were a couple guys who came down the pit lane, Gutierrez and some of those guys, which meanwhile, you know, Gutierrez is up to 9th. So it really wasn't that bad of a choice to come down a few cautions ago for those guys. So that makes things kind of interesting. How about Matt Tuck in the top 10? You know, the ratings are still very much in play right here for these guys. But man, if you're Logan Williams, oh boy, you're not going to be too happy about that. Hopefully he can still round out the top 10 for you guys. But if that's just the nature of this place, I should say. You get stuck in that outside lane and boom, you're gone. Just like I said, we've got old Bristol here, and my goodness, has it been the last great Coliseum here today. These guys in the back just continuing to get into each other. Bernardo de Oliveira in the 57 with damage there. 17 drivers now on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is Laura Chung in the 55. You know, Brian Webb, I was talking about him not too long ago. He's now up to 18th. So with each of these cautions that end up happening, you know, he keeps on moving his way through the field, which is good. Thomas Trox, who's second in points, is right up here in the top 10. Same with Matt Tuck. Daniel Paulus Jr. is 19th. He's the next guy a lap down, so not too bad for him. I know Blaine Keys was on the lead lap not too long ago. He had to come down the pit lane. He is a lap down in the 41, but he's 21st. All right, well, now you got Brett Stover in second, with Nicholas Samadeo leading and Matthew Hubert in third. And with each of these restarts, is an opportunity for these guys to make a pass, as we saw right there with Nicholas Samadeo not too long ago. So, do you think Brad Stover's going to have a chance here, maybe getting around this 59 for this race lead?
Going to be interesting to see. Samadeo's looked pretty strong on these restarts, but Stover's also looked pretty good as well. Just going to come down to who can get the better jump, and also who can hit the bottom of turns 1 and 2, because Samadillo gets a good start, but washes up there. Brad Stover could still get to the inside of him.
Here we go. We're going to have 50 laps to go next time by here at Bristol. Oh, Nicholas Samadillo has to be careful, but that was a good run. That was a really good run through the corner right there. And Brad Stover not able to get to the inside of him. Matthew Hubert there in third, and then Brian Webb trying to get around these guys, get his laps back. So Nicholas Samadillo holding on for now. And Logan Williams behind Sam Outson's going to get to the inside of the 73 right there. How about Trey Bartow? He's in fourth now. How about this four machine at Troxel now in the top 5 as well? Good runs for some of these strong veterans here today. And you know what? What a good run for Brad Stover in this 88 machine. Nathan Norman Motorsports, they need a good run. And you know what? Brad's their guy there at that team. And that 88 machine, you know, he's got a shot here if we get a couple more cautions. But you know what? I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, no.
Bryce Egan again in the 69. You heard me say that, too.
That
That 69 is done. He was the one who really started this whole thing. It was that first caution that we had earlier on in the day. This is still a very interesting race, though. It's different, you know, because, like I said, the leaders are essentially, they're not getting caught up in these wrecks. They're not necessarily a part of all of this. And each restart is an opportunity for these guys. And we saw that happen with Sam Badillo and Logan Williams. So, you know what? I know I keep on trying to validate this nonsense. You know, at the end of the day, each of these Wawa Cup Series races is going to be different. And I don't think we're going to ever have another one like this. Because I don't know if I'm going to bring this track back next year. Because you know what? It's been 10 years and I know, Caleb, I know it's your home racetrack. But my goodness, man. I tell you what. I was telling you on one of the cautions there that you know, I don't see any other NR YouTubers have a race at Bristol. Well, you know, this is why. This is why. But you know what? Early on in the season still. And on two, a part of it, you know, last year the ratings were a little bit deeper in the season. You know, this time around these guys are still kind of even, and I feel like that also plays a bit of a factor. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it all goes down. 48, Seth Cole is done. So he's actually only going to be our 4th retiree so far of this race. 17 drivers on the lead lap still, with Justin Zeidel, the last one there at the back of the field. That's our 8th caution of the day here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Easily a record here in the Wawa Cup Series, but you know what? An opportunity for our top 3 to get their first, actually top 4, because Bartow's also up here as well. We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out. Well, how you liking this so far, Caleb? And be honest, I mean, this is definitely different. It's a shame that we're knocking out a lot of these laps under caution. But at the end of the day, when they are racing, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely the green flag racing is very, very entertaining, and I do kind of hate to see that it's as messy as it is, but yeah, you know, like it's different. It's not necessarily bad. It's just different. So
obviously, you do have a bit of bias when saying that.
Maybe,
but you know what? Nicholas hasn't gotten this win quite yet. You know, Brad Stover and especially that zero Matthew Hubert, they're going to be tough to beat here, I feel like. But here we go. We're getting towards the end of this race. We have 43 laps to go across the line for Nicholas Samadillo here. Oh, Brad Stover, nope.
Not quite.
And it's that first turn. That first turn is where it is, and that's where Samadillo made the move on Logan Williams. However, Samadillo a little wide right there. Unable to get it, and you know, here's a big move right here. If Bartow can get around Brian Webb, that 4 machine could actually close in. He's got to be careful there off the exit.
Ooh.
And Logan Williams, he's stuck on the outside lane again, and he's going to lose some more ground.
Oh boy.
And so is Brian Webb in the 13. He's going to actually lose a couple of spots right there, I feel like, even though he is a lap down right there. Not the best of runs for him, but the top 3 have cleared. Sam Badillo leading this field in the 59. Brad Stover, Matthew Hubert there, Trey Bartow, and Thomas Troxel all on the line. And how about Michael Lewis, who finished... Oh, well, you know what? Okay, I got to tell you something right now. Angel Gutierrez came down. He's got fresher tires than these guys right here. And this 36 is flying. And if this thing stays green, Gutierrez may win this race because that 36 is really fast right now. And we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Matt Tuck is 8th. Great run for Matt Tuck here today. Then it is Jack Haas. And then the 51 of Ludovic Charette is 10th. And Logan Williams now down in 11th.
Still not a bad run, all things considered. And if we do have another caution, he still has an opportunity to get back up here. Yeah, I feel like I kind of silently jinxed both Logan and even Brian Webb because I was thinking, oh, that's a hard hit.
Or should I say Michael Lewis. Romero was in that ride last week. Yeah, that does not work. And Michael Lewis, who was second, by the way, on Wednesday in the Sprint Series. And actually, I think was he second in the Daytona 500? I can't remember if he was second in that race. I know he was up front in the 500. Definitely a solid driver. Definitely a guy who, you know, if we see him in the Cup Series next year, could definitely contend for some wins. Just can't contend by doing something like that. The Bartow here, I like what Trey Bartow has been doing here today in this 4 machine for Harrisville Motorsports. And you know what? Bartow is definitely a solid driver this season as well. He's top 10 currently in the chase and has got another solid run going. But don't count out Gutierrez. Like I said, he was one of these guys who came down the pit lane, and this 36 is one of the fastest cars out here. Now we'll have to see how quick he can make work on Thomas Troxel in that 62, because if he can get around these guys quick enough, he might have a shot there. But the way it is right now, San Mateo has the advantage. But once again, just like we saw at the beginning of the race, lap traffic up ahead. This could get a little dicey.
Well, yeah, starting to get back in that lap traffic territory, and look at that. We finally got ourselves another green flag run. Sorry. But
hey, look, man, you are the one that has, you know, the most to lose right here. You and your teammate, you and your team driver, Nicholas Amadeo. So, if you want to go ahead and jinx something, you can be my guest.
Someone on the wall up there, but yeah, start actually kind of getting to the closing stages of this race. So yeah, you mentioned Gutierrez potentially having a chance, but he's going to have to move through the field quick because still got just about 30-ish laps to go. But those will fly fast here at Bristol, especially under green flag. I feel like
he may have stalled out too because he has not gotten around Troxel at this point, and if those tires were to be of any worth, he would have already gotten around them. So yeah, it's looking good right now for a certain driver. Matt Tuck in the 54. Solid run for him. He's got to be careful not to let Avery Alford to the inside of him because you got Jack Haas and then his teammate there, Ludovic Charette. And Logan's still top 10 after all that. And you know, that 95 is quick. Of course, got stuck in that outside lane, fell back, and, you know, it just didn't work out too well for him. But you know what? This race is not over. And Nicholas Amadeo has to be careful with these lap cars because Brad Stover is literally right there in that 88 machine trying to get this win. And how many times have we seen Nicholas Amadeo finish second in the Wawa Cup Series?
Yes.
Exactly. So, you know, I mean, I'm rooting for my man. I know I have to be a little impartial. But you know what? I think we'd all love to see this guy finally get a Wawa Cup Series race victory. He's got 25 laps to do it here at Bristol. Brad Stover about second behind right now in that 88 machine.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Brad Stover's definitely trying. I saw him back there a lap or two ago. He made contact, pretty much doored the 0-0 of Romero trying to get by. Stover is working hard to try and catch up to San Mateo. Now have a lap car cushion between them.
He's got to be careful here.
Don't go 3 wide.
Yeah, that's Zachary Fitzwater, Bruno Diacomo ahead of him right there.
There you go.
Those guys going a lap down. They've been involved.
And that's not going to help Stover.
Yeah, Stover stuck in the outside lane.
Oh, no, that's not going to help.
And Laura Chung, who is, I believe, just 1 lap down at this point. She is. So we got 16 cars on the lead lap. That's Rogel Dorn, who is the last car on the lead lap. Sam and Odskin in the 73, who wasn't, I don't think he was, he's got some right side damage there. He's hit the wall a couple times. He's had a lot going on. The thing about this race, so many things have happened here today at Bristol that we'll probably never really be able to review. And, you know, it's a shame because it's just so many things going on at the whole time. You know what we need to do, essentially, is we need to do a overhead shot with free cam and just play all 125 laps of that. Then you get to see the whole track. But, I mean, we're not going to go through all that. I'm sure you guys have seen enough nonsense here today. And how about Nicholas Samudio starting to lap these guys? And oh, how about Trey Barto looking to get second here on Brad Stover?
Ooh.
And you know what? Gutierrez has also gone around Troxel. Matthew Hubert fell back to 6th right there. We really didn't catch that, but he got stuck on the outside. And then Gutierrez also got around Troxel. So solid run for Gutierrez, solid run for Trey Barto here in this race. And Barto trying to close in. Actually, Barto's already around Stover, and so is Gutierrez. And now Trey Barto, well, look at all the lap cars that Samudio has on Barto. And even if we were to get another caution in this race, those guys are going to get stuck there in between the 59 and the 4. So Barto has his work cut out for him if he wants a shot at this race victory. But you know what? This is something that you have to be proud of, Caleb. Your drivers have led every single lap so far in this race. Your team is also looking to go back-to-back here in the Wawa Cup Series. And Samudio, all he has is 16 laps to go here at Bristol, and he's going to finally go to victory lane in the Wawa Cup Series.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely very, very proud of the performance that my guys have pulled on today. Ooh, hard hitting Broskin there, but
and, Oskin's teammates pit looping right now. That's another thing that happens here at Bristol. De Oliveira's had a day of old time. A lot of these guys have had a day of old time, but we're our longest green flag run of the day so far right here. And it's been quite interesting to see this. And Gutierrez is going to go for second there. And you know what? I might have been right about Gutierrez after all, because he's now up to the 2nd position. We'll have to see how quick he gets around these lap cars, but Nicholas Samudio has the advantage of getting these guys each and every lap, essentially, and that may just be enough for him to hold off this 36, who is clearly one of the fastest cars on the racetrack.
Gutierrez is definitely fast, but Samudio, he's just been mowing down these lap traffic. As you saw, he got by Garcia there, now looking to try and potentially get by the 43 of Zidell. Yeah, Samudio's definitely had his work cut out for him this race. Started in the 19th position. Oh, yep, he's got Justin. Got a spin. No caution,
they just stopped. They just stopped bothering. You know what? That's what they did. They just stopped bothering.
I guess they decided it wasn't worth it.
We'll never know what that was. These guys are getting quite interesting right now. But Samudio's got to be careful. Right behind Jesse Turner right here. He's got to be careful with these lap cars not to get caught up in an accident, because he essentially has this thing on lock as long as he keeps it clean. But he still has 8 laps to go. Now, actually, should I say 9 laps to go here at Bristol. And he's going to get around Jesse. Oh, almost put Jesse in the outside wall. The tires are also wearing out as well. And Gutierrez has slightly fresher tires. Brad Stover also got back around the number 4 Trey Barto right there. Barto is also going to try to get back around Stover, though. I mean, these guys are just all over the place. It's a madhouse out here. And Ace Garcia's got a problem. He's coming down the pit lane. Uh-oh. Will we get number 9?
Uh-oh.
If that 44 doesn't get back around, I think we do have number 99. Oh boy, we do. Man, we were doing so good. And all things, for a caution to come out, a mechanical issue. And that may not have even been a mechanical issue. That may have just been a tire going down.
Oh boy.
So Samudio, he's going to have to fare one more restart here in this race to finally get his first career Wawa Cup Series race victory. And what a race it has been. He has to be ultra careful here, because Travis Crampton's right there. If he gets to the inside, Gutierrez is not too far behind with fresher tires. And I think we're probably either going to be 1 or 2 laps to finish this thing off here at Bristol.
Oh boy. You know what? I'm just going to stay silent.
That might be a good thing for you. That might be a good thing. You already jinxed your other driver.
He's still up in top 10. I don't got too bad.
You said he was going to win. Look at where he is now. The other end of the racetrack. Regardless of the fact, still a good run for Logan Williams. Ludovic Charette. Great run for Grattan Autosport. How about Matt Tuck and Ludovic Charette right there? Getting good runs here today. What a day. Thank you guys for watching this. That green flag run was a lot of fun, and it made it seem like this race has not had 9 cautions. But regardless of the fact, this has been an entertaining race. And we have seen some of the best drivers I think that we're going to see this season run up front as well here today. Trey Bartow, Matthew Hubert, Thomas Troxel, Jack Haas, Matt Tuck, Ludovic Charette, and of course Logan Williams. And then you got yourself Nicholas Sanbedillo, Angel Gutierrez are two guys who I think are going to be really good. Trey Bartow as well. I mean, these are 10 guys who could very well be 10 drivers in the chase. With Nicholas Sanbedillo up front looking to get this win, it is very possible Nicholas Sanbedillo could very well slot himself easily into the chase of the season. Of course, I know that's what you guys expect over there at Appalachian Motorsports. Here's the thing. He's got one lap to do it. One lap to do it. It's going to be a one-lap dash here to finish this thing out here at Bristol. This is going to be... this is going to be something. This is going to be something to finish out this Krispy Kreme 500. What a race this has been. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to ask you anything. I don't want you to jinx him. But I know Angel Gutierrez wants Travis Crampton. You know, Crampton's Gutierrez's best friend right now. Oh, no!
Oh!
You have to be kidding me. You actually have to be kidding me.
There.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Nicholas Sanbedillo has blown an engine here on... Coming to the white flag. Coming to the white flag on the restart. What is going to happen here? He's going to restart the leader, but he's not going to get back around. And Angel Gutierrez in the 36 is now your race leader here at Bristol. Brad Stover there in the 88 with an opportunity. Will he dive bombing into the corner? He will not. Angel Gutierrez is finally going to get that stock car win, and that was the most unconventional way for it to happen. Wow. Wow. Man, now you know how Drew Webb felt at Michigan last year. Wow. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make it up. You know, even after all of that, he'll still get a top 10 finish. So at least in terms of the points, he's going to be all right. But I can't. I just can't. I just can't anymore. That was absolutely unbelievable, what we just saw right there.
I think I'm out of it. Is what it is.
Oh my goodness, man. I feel bad for you, man. I feel bad for Nicholas. I feel bad. I just, you know, I mean, what can you do? It's just the way the game is. And you know what? That might be the last time we ever see this track on the channel. And for good reason. I don't know. Wow. You know what? I mean, I've been doing NR2003 for a decade, almost a decade now, and you know what? It's still always... It never fails to surprise me. It never fails to surprise me. I feel so bad for you, Caleb, but you know what? There's someone who is incredibly happy about that happening, and that is Angel Gutierrez getting his first career Wawa Cup Series win here today for Millennium Motorsports and Chase Harris, and... You know what? He was one of the fastest cars out there. Very much deserving of the win. But I tell you what, that's even like more incredible almost than what happened with Drew Webb. Because Nicholas Sanbedillo should have won this race. And yet he will still go without a win in the Wawa Cup Series up to this point. Wow, what a day! What a day here at Bristol. I tell you, you just never know. Sometimes those are the drivers knocked out: Seth Cole, Bryce Egan, Chase Buck, Andrew Miller, L.J. Semedo. Caleb, I don't know if you want to say anything, but do you have any thoughts on what happened there?
Well, we'll still try to look up if this race did show anything. It's that we do have two fast cars. There's just still some things. Preferably maybe reliability that we need to start pouring some upgrades into, but regardless of that, yeah, I'm definitely happy to see Angel Gutierrez have their first win here in the Wawa Cup Series. Definitely a very solid driver, and definitely had a lot of expectations followed on him after winning the Indy 250 last season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nice to see him finally break through. It might have been in an unconventional manner, but still, very, very happy for them. And still managed to salvage a double top 10, so it's a smaller victory than we were anticipating, but still a victory nonetheless.
Oh boy. Caleb, I don't think you should be in the booth anymore for the Wawa Cup Series. Yeah, if you're going to have any success for your drivers, you need to get the heck out. It seems like every time you're up here, your team has something go wrong. Wow. I mean, I don't know. I just don't even know anymore. Well, you know what? That's the way it goes. Still, a lot of things to be said for you guys, and it's still very early on in the season, so many more opportunities to come up, including next week at Circuit of the Americas, where we do not have to worry about that flagman wearing out his arm like he did today, because road courses have no caution, so that race will be interesting. And then, of course, 2 weeks from now, it's Rockingham, which I think that's really where we're going to start seeing the ratings really come into effect, and really start seeing who really... I mean, we're already seeing it. Obviously, we know Thomas Troxell's going to be good. I think Brian Webb's still going to be good. Matt Tuck, obviously, is going to be a solid driver throughout the season. And I think your two guys, Logan Williams, Nicholas Samadeo, I know Logan has not had the best starts once again, but if he can have some more runs like this going forward, and maybe he'll actually have a good run. Gutierrez as well, Trey Bartow. These are some guys who have put together some consistent runs. Jack Haas as well in the 39. And they're definitely going to be ones to watch for as the season goes along. All right, you guys have heard my voice and seen this nonsense long enough today. Thank you guys so much for watching this Krispy Kreme 500. Certainly one of the races of all time in the Wawa Cup Series. But as I said, we will definitely take into consideration maybe leaving Bristol off the schedule next season after what we saw here today, because it's been 10 years trying to figure this track out, and while that was entertaining, I don't know if we'd particularly want to see that in the top level series on the channel. Regardless of the fact, hope you enjoyed it. I know Angel Gutierrez did, and we'll head into Circuit of the Americas even better with a solid race there in the Terry Black's Texas Grand Prix. That'll be fun. 16 laps there around that 3.4 mile road course. Well, Caleb, thank you so much for, bearing with me, bearing with that entirety, that whole race, and seeing your cars just, oh man, just do whatever they did. I appreciate all you do for the channel and all that, and I hate that you have to sit through it, but hey, you know what? We had fun. That's ultimately what matters, and hope you all had fun as well. Alright, here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 6 races. See you guys next week from COTA. Congratulations to Angel Gutierrez, and on behalf of Caleb Rose, I will see you guys later.